Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I hope you guys had fun networking. I am so excited. We have Sandi Boucher here with us, and I am already so inspired and so excited for this speaker session. Sandi, how you feeling?
I am feeling amazing. I am so excited about this event. So, yeah, lots of good stuff to share.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'm going to just introduce y'all quickly to Sandi before she takes it off. Yeah, I guess I could just jump into that. So, Sandi Boucher, you amazing human, supports both sides of reconciliation by creating safe spaces, not only for Indigenous peoples, but for non-Indigenous as well. She empowers through example and education, providing answers and guidance for all who wish to start or continue their learning journey. Today, Sandi is taking us on a journey as she describes all the incredible possibilities that await you during your gap year, the opportunities, the pitfalls, and the story that you are going to write. And of course, as an incredible best-selling author, she's going to be giving away 3 copies of her book, I'm Awake, so stay tuned. I'll be shouting out names at the end of the session. Sandi, please take it away.
Thank you so much. If you could work your magic and share my screen, that would be absolutely awesome. I love to share images when I do my talks because I know I'm such a visual learner, and it's great to hear someone talking and sharing their story. But if there's an image to back it up, it's always easier for me to remember it. So thank you so much for that amazing intro. As you can see from the slide on the screen, my talk tonight is called A Suitcase, a Teaching, and a Video Game. And I'd be willing to bet that at least you're familiar with at least 2 of those. So let's jump right into it. Now, okay. How do I get it? It's not moving. Oh, go over there. I cannot get the screen. There, I figured it out. Awesome. Gotta love technical issues. You guys are way better at this than me. As mentioned, my name is Sandi Boucher. Mishko Paganankwe Nidishnakas Mangnodem. I am Anishinaabe, which is in English an Ojibwe woman. I work full-time and have for the last 12 years as an inspirational speaker. As mentioned, I'm a best-selling author. I am most definitely an Indigenous activist out there on the front lines, helping people to understand exactly what's going on in Canada these days. I've had my own TV program for quite a few years here locally in Northern Ontario. And when I'm not doing all that, I'm a mom to 2 amazing grown children and a grandma to 2 as well. As mentioned earlier, I describe what I do as feather dancing. Eagle feathers are incredibly important to Anishinaabe people. And if you think of 2 sides of that feather, on one side, I support and empower and help to heal First Nation communities, helping Indigenous people across Canada realize how resilient and strong we are and how awesome our teachings are, and helping them to remember those teachings. And on the other side, I work with non-Indigenous Canadians, helping them to understand what they're seeing in the news, answering their questions. As mentioned, I create safe space. So tonight, hopefully, maybe we'll have an opportunity to get to some of your questions. As mentioned, I'm going to talk about a suitcase. I'm going to share a teaching with you. And then we're going to talk about video games that I guarantee you know way more about than I do. My grandson could tell you stories about that. But let's start with this idea of a suitcase. Imagine on the day you were born, you were handed a suitcase. And it's an awesome looking suitcase, and there's absolutely nothing in it. But almost from the very first moment, things start getting put into your suitcase. The things you see, the things you experience, the things you hear, and the things you're taught. You go on your life journey, you go to school, you make friends, you have different experiences, and each one is adding positive and negative things to your suitcase. Trust me, when you get to be my age, the suitcase starts to look a little crazy. And you get to this very empowering point in your life when you realize it's time to unpack that suitcase. It's time to look at those things you thought you understood or the things you were taught. And now with your adult mind to ask yourself, does that even make sense anymore? Does it empower me? Is it supporting me? Is it even true? And that's the stage you're at now, or just beginning, or you're looking at the world and you can question the things that other people are just consuming. And that's so absolutely exciting from my perspective. Now, of course, I grew up as an Indigenous woman in Canada, so my suitcase had a lot of really scary things in it, especially when you consider that in many ways here in Canada, people still think that anything to do with First Nations cultures or teachings is subpar, that it doesn't compare to a Western education or Western ways of looking at things. Now, nowadays, there's people interested in our ceremonies, interested in our traditional dress, but we're still not at the point where our teachings and even the way we educate our children is recognized as valuable as Western society. Now, for me personally, because of this reality, I grew up in what I now call a world of lies. I had this amazing mom and dad at home who encouraged and supported me, was there to love me and nurture me. But it seemed like almost as soon as I left the yard, there were these ideas, these lies circling around, and I heard them over and over, and I didn't realize they were getting into my suitcase. And I wanted to share a few of them with you tonight because you may have heard these, and maybe they're in your suitcase, and maybe it's something you now can unpack. The first thing I was told was that white people would hate me without even knowing me, that there was no chance we were going to be able to work together or be friends or hang around together, that they were going to hate me on sight. I gotta say, that one seemed a little weird to me from day one, and it's largely because my dad was white. My dad was French Canadian from Saint-Jérôme, Quebec, and he loved me and supported me and was easily the president of my fan club. So that didn't make sense to me. Now, unfortunately, I did meet people that proved that little idea correct, but for the most part, I realized it was a lie. The second lie Indigenous people are told on a regular basis, or what we hear, is this idea that Native people are lazy, good-for-nothing welfare bums, that we just take advantage and we never achieve anything. We're lazy. We're just going to sit around collecting money. That didn't make any sense to me either, because you see, my mom was an Anishinaabe, a beautiful Indigenous woman from Couchiching First Nation. My mom was the hardest working woman I ever knew, hardest working person I ever knew. She worked endlessly, keeping our home while we were in school. And then when me and my brothers got to high school and she realized she didn't really need to be at home anymore, my mom only had a grade 4 education, but she decided she wanted to go out and help my dad earn some money to support the family. So my mom got a job at the local sawmill. My mom used to pile 2x4s, 8-foot-long boards, into big stacks of wood outside for 8-hour shifts, 5 days a week. Outside, 40 above or 40 below. That doesn't sound lazy to me. And she did it happily because it was helping to support her children. And this whole idea of Indigenous people being lazy doesn't apply to my brother or my son either. My son, when he decided at 17 that he was now old enough to live on his own, he worked 3 minimum wage jobs to be able to pay for his own apartment. That doesn't sound lazy to me. And my brother has never been out of work for more than a day in his life. So that seems to be a lie as well. The third one, that white society would never accept me, that I should just stick with my own. And here's where I have to admit, this lie I bought for 20 years of my life. Please be careful with what you believe. I stuck with my own, working only in Indigenous agencies. Way back when, I started as a secretary, and over the course of the years, went back to school a couple times, applied, and slowly moved up the ladder until at the end of that career, I was an executive director of a $4.2 million employment and training agency in downtown Toronto. I was now in my 40s. And suddenly one day it hit me, what if that was a lie too? What if all those years there were other people that would have listened to me, that I could have helped and encouraged, but I had never tried because I had bought that lie? I decided I was now gutsy enough and financially stable enough to test that theory. I wanted to unpack my suitcase. So I quit my ridiculously well-paying job and became a motivational speaker. Because lie number 4, I was told, was that things will never change. And I set out to prove that wrong. And guess what? It was a lie. I have been a motivational speaker on stages across Canada for more than 12 years. My first book became a bestseller, then my second, then my third, and my fourth just launched a month ago, and that's the book that is going to be given away tonight. I Am Awake is a beautiful combination of the traditional teachings and Indigenous worldview from my first book and all the challenges of reconciliation and bringing Canada together that you find in my third book, The Path. I believe I Am Awake is such a beautiful representation of my entire journey. And based on feedback so far, I have no doubt that it's going to be just as successful as all the other books. And I can't wait to find out which ones of you are going to get a copy tonight. Now my social media posts reach over 100,000 people a day, and no, they are not all Indigenous. It was a lie. But truth be told, it was a long journey from that little girl I once was to the woman I am now. So now I thought it would be a really good time to share a teaching with you, a teaching that has allowed me to move out of poverty, through 10 years of domestic violence, because that's my background, into the successful life I have now. And the teaching can be summed up in a very few short words: puzzle pieces. When I was a kid, whether I was having trouble with a girlfriend or struggling at school or didn't understand why the teacher was being mean to me or whatever it was, I would often go to my mom for advice. I would ask her what I should do. She always had the same answer. She would think about it for a few minutes, and then she would say, "Sounds like you don't have enough puzzle pieces." What she meant by that, if you picture it for a moment, imagine a puzzle that has 1,000 pieces to it, but you only have 5 pieces. There's a really good chance the 5 you have don't match. They don't fit together in any way. The colors are totally different. How are you going to figure out what the answer is when you only have 5 puzzle pieces? But what if you got 10 more? 10 more after that. Now maybe 2 or 3 are fitting together. Maybe these 2 over there and those 2 over there. Add another 10 and maybe a corner is starting to come together. My mom used to say, when you put together an actual puzzle, you can cheat. There's a picture on the box. You can match the color of your puzzle piece and figure out where it's going to go in the puzzle. When we're talking about our lives, there is no picture. You need to decide what that picture looks like. And you need to decide what puzzle pieces to keep and which ones to discard because they don't fit in your puzzle. I was in my 40s doing this career when my puzzle finally came together and I saw the picture of what my future was going to be. So don't be worried if you have no idea yet. Your only assignment is to collect puzzle pieces. And this is your gap year. What an amazing year to do it. Now, maybe you can't travel as much as you'd like to. Maybe you can't experience things the way we could before COVID, but there are so many opportunities for you. So please, for the sake of your journey, gather as many puzzle pieces as you can. So we talked about the suitcase. We talked about the puzzle pieces. That was the teaching. Now it's time to talk about that video game. And hopefully I'm not going to sound ridiculous sharing this with you because, again, I acknowledge you probably know way more about video games than I do. But we're going to give you a shot. If you don't remember anything else I've said to you tonight, please remember this. If you take the skills that you use to beat a video game and apply it to real life, you can become absolutely anything you want. I'm going to show you how. Let's imagine we're playing a video game, and this video game is set in this crazy, ridiculous hallway. And the idea is you have to check out each one of the rooms. You have to grab what you need. You have to stay away from the bad guys and the traps and all those things that you find in video games. And you have to make it all the way to the end before your time runs out. So let's start playing the game together. Imagine you open the first door and go into the room. You look around. It doesn't look like there's anything here. You test out areas. You make sure there's no trap doors or nothing's going to grab you. And there doesn't seem to be anything. Except over in the corner, you notice a key sitting on a table, and you poke at it and you test it. It's not a trap. It's not going to electrocute you if you touch it or anything. Now, if you want to win the video game and you find a key, what are you going to do? I hope every single one of you just screamed at your device that you would pick up the key, because even I know if you come across a key in a video game, I guarantee you, you're coming across something that's locked further in the game. You grab the key, you take it with you, and you head to the next room. High school was a key. Math class was a key. Every skill you have learned so far is a key, and you don't know when you're going to come against the door that key is going to open. So again, in this year, please continue grabbing keys. I didn't like math when I was in high school. I really didn't want to take that class. Now running my own business, I'm really glad I did. I could read my financial statements and know how healthy my business is. And I would be at a real disadvantage if I couldn't. Never forget to grab your keys. So now we're back out in the hallway. We know room number 1 is done. We go into room number 2. And again, it looks like there's not a lot happening in here. And this time there's not even a key. There's just nothing. Think about the people you know in your life. How many of them are somewhere or doing something that's not really good, but it's not really bad either? It's just meh. And they're staying there. It's not helping them advance, but it's not hurting them. So they're just staying, letting the time tick away. Please don't stay in this room. You're going to run out of time. Go back out into the hallway and the game continues, one room after another. Gather the things you need. Stay away from the things that are going to hurt you. I think we all know the kind of things I'm referring to. And no matter what, continue playing the game. Do not give up the remote. Do not hand the control for your life to somebody else. Because the reality is, this is your game. My son really struggled in high school. The teachers actually went as far as telling me they didn't think he would ever graduate. And I used to spend a lot of time worrying about him. But then I'd watch him play a video game, and he may struggle in school, but playing a video game was his world, and there he was confident and he knew what he was doing. And I would watch him, and he would start the game, and often he would go someplace and his character would end up getting killed. And instead of quitting, instead of getting frustrated, he'd restart the game and try again, because he now knew more than he did the first time. But how many people do we know, maybe even you, have stopped doing something after they failed the first time? They never try it again, even though they now have more knowledge and more wisdom than they did before. As I said earlier, apply the skills from your video game to real life. Reset, start again, keep going. And the part that blew me away, and I know if you're a gamer, you're going to relate to this. I would watch my son, and he was so excited to get to the next level. He knew it was going to be harder. He knew it was going to be more dangerous. He knew there was a greater chance that he would fail, yet he couldn't wait to get there. But how many adults never dare bid for that job, or never dare to move someplace, or never dare to take that chance because it's new and it might be uncomfortable and they don't know what's going to happen. It might be harder than where they are now. Play the game. It's the next level. You can do it. And if you don't do it the first time, try again and try again. But that's the only way to create that puzzle picture that you want. Play the game. You are playing your own video game now, and it's called your life. You get to choose what stays in your suitcase. You get to choose what puzzle pieces you need to go get and which ones you're going to throw away. You get to decide if you're going for that next level. Please level up every chance you can. Read that new book. Watch that how-to video on YouTube. I've learned tons of things from TikTok. So, check it out anywhere you can go. And when we have the chance to experience something in real life, please always think of, how can I level up? How can I add puzzle pieces to my puzzle? This is your life. It's your suitcase. You get to decide. And I was so excited to join you tonight because I think you have already taken the most amazing first step, a step that I wish so many more of my audience members would take. You decided to take a gap year. You decided that you were doing this your way. You weren't just going to be the little robot going to the next step like so many people do. You took a gap year. And I think that is absolutely amazing. I'm actually kind of jealous. I'm actually considering taking my own. Probably won't love my career, but you know what? I wish I was at the beginning rebuilding my puzzle pieces. There would be so many puzzle pieces I wouldn't pick up. The doubting myself, the fear to try new things, those things I would throw away as soon as they were handed to me. And I hope you decide to do that too. Because if everyone was as daring as you, daring to create and follow your own path, then I wouldn't have to worry so much about my audience members. Because that's my entire career, trying to encourage people to go for it, to dare to listen to their spirit, dare to take that out of their suitcase, dare to heal, dare to get that new puzzle piece, dare to level up. So that's what I wanted to share with you tonight. The fact that I believe in you, and I am so incredibly proud of you for taking this gap year. I hope as you go through the next 12 months that you think of your suitcase and what you're carrying and what you need to get rid of, what is now just baggage. I hope you remember the puzzle piece teaching. And most of all, I pray that you are always playing your video game. That's going to bring me to the end of my chat. And I'm just looking for my little moderator here. Hopefully she's, there she is. Absolutely amazing. What did you think, Jazz?
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, I graduated high school 10 years ago, but I wish I had someone like you supporting that exit and understanding. Like Samir just said it, it's really an inspiration to feel in control of building our own lives. It's because we define ourselves by a classroom for 15 plus years. And it's such a beautiful, like, just acknowledgement of the fact that we can look outside and be like, hey, like, I have full control. I can start picking up my pieces. I can start putting my puzzle together. I can decide what goes in and out of my suitcase. I absolutely love that. Thank you. Thank you, Sandy.
If there's one thing that COVID really reminded us all of, we don't control other people. We never have. We don't control the environment, but we always control us. Right? I can jump online and learn a new skill just because I want to. I can listen to an amazing speaker by going on YouTube. There is no limit to what I can put in my suitcase. So why would I limit what I can put in my suitcase? Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, Sandy. Oh my goodness. I want to see some more exclamations in the chat. Also, there's a delay. I forgot to mention that. There's a delay between, there's like maybe 10-second delay between speaking and comments. So everyone give me your exclamation marks. Let me see them. Especially before we do the giveaway.
Yeah.
I know they're coming in. I'm just waiting for them. There we go. There we go. Thanks,
That's
Nana.
amazing. Amazing. So I'm wondering which one resonated the most, whether it was the idea of the suitcase, whether it was the puzzle piece teaching, or whether it was the video game and using that analogy for life. So which one resonated the most with the people listening? Which one resonated most with you, Jazz, to start off?
Honestly, the suitcase, because I used to facilitate like experiential learning journeys across India, and we always had this beautiful analogy of like, because we're backpacking, we would say like, well, it's your decision what you want to put inside your backpack and what you want to take out. And that was, and I always saw that being very, very powerful. And it's something that I use all the time. I'm like, I'm feeling heavy today. What do I want to take out of my backpack? What do I want to carry forward with me? So I see a lot of puzzles, video games, of course. I see that in there in the chat. Yeah. Randy says the suitcase as well. That's awesome. Breland says suitcase.
Yeah, the video game analogy honestly came to me watching my son, because he so struggled in school, and I saw what it was doing to his self-confidence. Like, it was horrible to watch. But in that game, nothing was going to stop him. And I knew I had to find a way to reach him. It was like, Keith, you know how to succeed. I'd buy them again 3 days later. Okay, that one's done. Can I get a new one? It's like, wait a minute, I don't make enough money to support this habit of yours here. But it was so empowering for him. And when I applied it to his real life, it's like, no, this is just one of those rooms you're not doing well in. Maybe you don't need to be in that room, or maybe you need to try to get into it a different way. You know how to do this. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. We've, if you can see the chat, we've got puzzle analogy, suitcase, video, and Andy said puzzle pieces and video game. Video game really resonated, even though I don't play a lot of them. I love it.
Okay, neither do I. So,
oh, this is beautiful. Well, I've randomly selected the winners. So should we give a little drum roll? Congratulations to Brooklyn, Yvonne, and Kai on winning the copies of I Am Awake by the incredible Sandi right in front of you. It's so awesome to actually get to like have the presence of the author that you're about to read or you've just read right in front of you. So I'm so excited for you all. I know I'm getting my copy anyways. So congratulations. That was Brooklyn, Yvonne, and Kai. Make sure you just send me a message on Discord so I can get you all set up.
Yep. I need those already mailing addresses. Yes. I am going to include a little note for each of you. And just for your information, I forgot to mention, it's actually a daily reading. So every day I shared a different thing, and it's just whether you go by what the date is today or you just open it to a special date to you or just randomly open it. The idea is read it and let it sit with you for a while and ask yourself if it fits in your puzzle.
I love that. Thank you so much, Sandi. It's been, thank you for blessing us with your presence, inspiring all of us. We continue these chats in the Discord after, so I know I've already included a couple quotes that I love from you. I wrote, I was told things would never change, and I set out to prove that wrong. So powerful. So powerful. And your only assignment is to collect puzzle pieces. I love that.
Yeah. Well, and for me, looking back, it was scary when I believed the walls I built around myself. Right. And it was like, wait a minute, why am I believing this? What if I test it? What if I play that video game and decide I'm not staying in this room you want to put me in? And ta-da! I created my own room.
So amazing. Thank you, Sandi. I'll get you all set up to exit. We'll get ready for our alum panel starting in just about 10 minutes. So everyone just sit back, relax. You can head to networking if you want to connect with people, or you can just hang out and keep chatting on Discord until we're ready. We'll kick back off around 10:15 is when the alum panel gets started. So we'll see you back here in about 10 minutes. Thank you again.
Take care, everyone. Have an amazing event, and even better, have an amazing gap year. Take care. Bye-bye.